Church at Home. I'm so glad that you are here with me this week. We are exploring all things rainbow as we draw to the end of this school year and we draw to the end of Pride Month. We just lift up all these colors that swirl and lift our spirits, and we explore them a little bit deeply as to what all of these colors can mean in our lives. Before we jump into all things rainbow though, our shout out this week goes to Ben and to Nikki. Thank you for joining me when you can and participating in all the ways that you do. All right, let's jump in to rainbows. So when I say rainbow, what do you think of? Some of you might think of rainbows with a pot of gold at the end. Some of you might think about the story of Noah's Ark. In the story of Noah's Ark, God was disappointed with how humans were treating the earth, and so he asked Noah to build a huge boat and to save pairs of every animal on that boat. And once Noah had built the boat, God sent rains for 40 days and 40 nights, and it destroyed everything around. And at the end of that 40 days and 40 nights, Noah sent a bird off to see if there was dry land. And the bird came back with an olive branch to say, yes, there is safety out there. You can park the boat and dismount. And as Noah was preparing to do that, God painted a rainbow across the sky in the story to say to Noah that this was the end of that anger and disappointment. From here on forth, God promised to work with Noah to restore the earth, to restore creation, and to work in partnership again with humanity. So there is another story of a rainbow. Or you might think, if you're thinking about rainbows, you might think of Pride Month. And all of this month, we've seen rainbows all over the place, lifting up the LGBTQ2S community, lifting up all of their struggles, as well as all of their gifts to each other and to all of us. So in those three examples, we have rainbows that are symbols of all kinds of things. We have the symbol of good luck with the gold at the end. We have the symbol of hope in Noah's Ark. And we have the symbol of diversity and love and inclusion in the pride flag. But did you know that the creator of the pride flag actually had a symbol for every color in that rainbow? They used that rainbow and that way of putting it together for a very special reason. And so today I want to share that with you. And we're going to look at what every one of those colors means and how we might see those colors and those meanings through our faith lens as well, in how we open our doors and our communities and are welcoming people of God. So come explore with me on my felt board all the meanings of the pride flag. So let's put our rainbow together on our felt board. In 1978, the pride flag was created by a man named Gilbert Baker, and he had an idea for every color of the rainbow. The first color is red, and red is a symbol of life. God is the source of life for all of us and the abundance of life that we all share. The second color in the rainbow is orange. And orange is a symbol for healing. There are many people in the LGBTQ2S community who have been hurt and felt rejected by family and friends. And so we have the symbol of healing to be reminded that God is there to help heal the hurt, but also to help heal those who have done the hurting out of fear. Our third color in the rainbow is yellow. And yellow is the symbol of sunshine. We believe that all God's children are intended to live out in the open, in the bright sunshine, celebrating exactly who they are and the way they are. The fourth color is green for nature. This is a reminder that God does not make mistakes. God is creator of all, and God's creation is beautiful exactly as it is. The fifth color is blue. Blue is a color for serenity or for peace. And we believe that, like the story of Noah's Ark, that peace is found through God, and that we find peace within ourselves and peace with each other through God. And finally, we have purple. Purple is a symbol of spirit, the spirit that connects all of us to each other, to ourselves, and to God the Creator. It is the spirit that helps us to survive and thrive and create change and bring about God's kingdom. And so we give thanks. We give thanks for this beautiful rainbow with all of its colors. And we give thanks to God for creating all of us just as we are, just as unique and diverse as we are, to celebrate each other and to give thanks in knowing that when God made each of us, God said, "This is good." I wonder which one of those colors has the most meaning for you right now? Which one of those colors do you need to lift up to make yourself feel lifted up right now? And I wonder which one of those colors might you need to work on, either to have more of it in your life or to try and share more of that color with other people. Isn't it interesting that the rainbow can mean so many things for so many people? The very heart of it, we know that the rainbow exists in all white light. All white light has all of those colors in it. And it's only when we use a prism or something to break the white light apart that we begin to see that there are all these different colors in it. And all of those colors work together to create the white light around us. So I want us to remember that God created all of humanity, all of creation. All of us are beloved children of God. And we may find ourselves closer to one color or another one day or another day. But it's only with all of us together that we are complete. We are complete as God's people and God's creation. And so we lift each other up. We lift each other up no matter where we struggle and no matter where our gifts are. So for our activity today, we could go with an experiment around prisms and light, but I thought I would do something a little different today. I have found myself a silicone mold, and I have a big box of old crayons. And I thought, wouldn't it be neat to take individual crayons and melt them together to be reminded of how all these colors work together and can create a whole new thing. So we're going to create crayons out of crayons. We're going to reuse and recycle our old crayons. Now, if you had a chance to stop by the church and get a kit, then you have the same silicone molds. These ones are little puzzle pieces. And you got a bag of crayons. And I've already gone ahead and prepared my crayons by taking off the paper and putting it aside. So my paper is off and you'll need to do that. If you weren't able to get a kit from the church, that's okay. Any silicone mold will work, or if you don't have a silicone mold, you can use a muffin tin and a paper liner, and you can put your crayons, your recycled crayons that we're going to reuse, into a paper muffin cup and use that instead, and then it won't stick to your pan. So, what are we going to do? Well, we are reusing and recycling our old crayons. I have a selection of colors, and the first thing that I need to do is turn these crayons into small pieces. So I have a cutting board and a knife, and I'm going to chop mine, but you can just as easily break your crayons into small pieces. Okay, so I have cut all of my crayons into little pieces and I've kept them sorted in colors. You don't have to, they can mix up because they're going to mix up in our silicone tray. So now I'm going to grab our tray and I'm going to add my colors into the little pockets, and I'm going to fill them up really, really high because when I melt them later, it will sink down. So I want to have these as full as I can because these are little pockets. Now, if you are doing a muffin tin with a muffin cup, you don't have to have it quite as full. You don't need to fill the whole thing up. You can maybe fill it up about halfway and then it'll melt down about to a quarter. Okay, so I'm gonna start adding my colors into my mold and see what I can do. Okay, I've just about used every piece of the crayon to stuff it into that silicone mold, and yours might not all fit. That's okay. But you'll see that some of them are overflowing a little bit, and that's okay. They will melt down. So now I'm going to take this down to my toaster oven. You can use just a regular oven. And I'm going to put it in my toaster oven for about 4 minutes and about 350 degrees. So you might need a grown-up to help you get these safely into a warm oven to start to melt these crayons. So here is my little tray pulled out of my toaster oven. It's still very hot and the crayons inside are still liquid. But we can already see how the colors have begun to melt together. And some of them, in melting together, have created new colors that I never put in there. Isn't that so neat to see how new things are created when we mix the colors together? I'm gonna let this sit at room temperature for about an hour before I try to take it out. But I have one that I made earlier. Here's a puzzle piece I made earlier. It's now dry and cooled off and it's hard as a crayon, and we can see how all the colors are still in there. They've mixed together to create a new shape, and when I color now with this crayon, I will have all different colors that will appear on the page. I really like the shape of the puzzle piece too, because it reminds me as well that we are all different pieces of the puzzle. We all fit together in a special way. Well, my friends, I hope that you have had fun playing with all colors of the rainbow today and exploring all those colors that exist within each of us and for us to share with others. I hope that your multicolored, reused and recycled crayons turn out well, and I can't wait to see the artwork and the crafts that you can do using your new crayons and all the colors that they might put on your page for you. Well, as you head off from school, off onto summer adventures, into the next chapter of this year. May you go with love in your heart to give, with joy in your heart to share, with strength in your heart to lift others up, and with every color of the rainbow to share with those around you. See ya!